What you do as a parent has a much bigger influence over your teenagers' attitudes, behaviour, and choices than what you say. Today, I break down why parents are the most important role models for teenagers and how to be a positive role model in their life. Hi, I'm neuroscientist Dr. Ben Webb, and I want to help you cultivate a healthy brain for a mentally healthy and happy life. Welcome to episode 55 of Better Brain, Better You. How you doing? I hope you've had a good week, and thanks so much for joining in for today's episode on how to be a positive role model for your teenager. So if you're watching on YouTube, please do like, subscribe and hit that notification bell to hear when we release new videos. And thanks so much for listening into the podcast on your preferred podcast platform. We release weekly episodes for brains of all ages. But before we kick off today, I want to give you a free workshop on how to parent a teenage brain. On this workshop, we share 4 essential strategies for parenting teenagers to meet the needs of their rapidly developing brain. So this workshop shows you how to use brain-based parenting strategies to understand and manage challenging behaviours and mental health problems that arise during the teenage years. So you can watch this free workshop at ologyonlinecourses.com/workshop. That's ologyonlinecourses.com/workshop. Please do go and watch it. It really will help you to understand and manage your teenagers' needs. Okay, so teenagers need role models, but what you do and how you act and behave as a parent or carer has a massive influence over your teenagers' attitudes, behaviour and choices. You are their most important role model. And with the many influences that surround your teen in the digital and real world, it's more important than ever to be the best role model you can be for them. They look to you for answers, guidance and protection. By being your best self and being more aware of your own actions and words, you can have a really positive influence on your teen's values, attitudes and life choices. So if you live your life in a way that reflects your values and what is important to you, then what you say and what you do will match up. And this provides clear lessons for your teenager about what to expect from them, as well as what they can expect from you. So it's important to think about ways you can be a positive role model for your teen as they become more autonomous and independent as they move through the teenage years. So how you behave sends a signal to your teen that this is the sort of behaviour that you approve of. And role modelling works in relation to virtually everything, from how you handle emotions such as frustration and anger, to how you respect and relate to other people, to how you respond to stress and cope with difficulties. It also influences patterns such as eating, exercise, how you look after yourself and problem solving. So what about the influence of other role models in your teen's life? Well, you might think that your teen's peers and friends have a much bigger influence in the teenage years than you do. But friends and peers do influence your teen, but so do you. It's just that peer influence is different from your influence. So your teen's friends are actually more likely to influence things like everyday behaviour, like the music they listen to or the clothes that they wear. As a parent or carer, you influence your teen's basic values, like issues related to their future, their educational choices, and even their religious values. And the stronger your relationship with your teen, the more influence you'll have. And that's because your teen values your good opinion, advice, and support. In fact, it's likely that when your teen becomes a young adult, they'll end up with values, beliefs, and behaviours that are actually similar to yours. So teenagers need you to stay connected with them and what they're up to. So you can take an interest in what they're doing with their friends without invading their space if you balance your teen's privacy with monitoring and trust. So depending on what's important to you, the clearest way to be a positive role model is to show your teen how to be the person you want them to be. So here are some simple examples about how to be a positive role model to your teen. So model positive relationships. Including your teen in family discussions is a really good way for them to understand how people can get along with others and work together. A teen's family is their first training ground for relationships and usually one of the strongest influences. Show them the importance of learning. So a positive approach to education and knowledge can really help your child value the process of discovery and learning. And an optimistic outlook generally supports positive outcomes. So if you make education seem interesting and enjoyable, your teen is more likely to have a positive attitude to school and learning. So for example, you could learn a language or a craft like painting, or you could read about an unfamiliar topic. And when you spend time reading for pleasure, it's a really great way to encourage your teen to pick up a book. So take responsibility for your mistakes. Openly admitting your mistakes and failures and talking about how you can correct them will show your teen how to be accountable for their own actions. It also teaches them that it's okay to make mistakes and to fail. And in fact, failure can actually be treated as a form of information to learn from that then goes on to build resilience. Respect others and positively resolve conflict. Showing respect to others and trying to problem solve conflicts that arise rather than simply getting angry and upset and frustrated will show your teen what respect and problem solving actually looks like. Make yourself available to your teen. One of the best ways to be a positive role model for your teenager is to make yourself available to them. Many teens pull away from their parents because they feel that their parents are too controlling or judgmental or even out of touch. By making yourself available, your team will know that they can approach you for advice in the future. Talk to your teenager. Communication is so important in any relationship, but especially between a parent and a teenager. And talking may have come easier when your teen was a child, but you can and should still have meaningful conversations with them. It may just have to be on your teen's own terms. So indicate that you're willing to listen. Use effective communication skills like active listening can promote a healthy relationship with your teenager. So communicating in a healthy way with your teen will also provide a healthy model of behaviour for your teen to follow in the future. While there are lots of ways to model effective communication skills for your teen, showing that you're willing to listen is a really great way to start modelling effective communication to them. Get to know your teen's friends. Part of being a positive role model for your teenager involves ensuring that your teenager has supportive and healthy relationships with their peers. So you can do this without spying or snooping by simply talking to your teen and taking an active role in interacting with your teen's friends. Be supportive of your teenager. So support is important for developing teens. Not only do they need supportive and understanding parents, they need supporting and understanding role models as well. And you can help your teen to choose and build respectful relationships by role modeling respectful and caring behaviour in your own relationships. And if you find yourself in a disrespectful relationship, model positive ways to manage that. So for example, by being assertive, talking with the person involved, or potentially seeking professional help if that's what's required. You can also stand up for yourself in a respectful way. This can be as simple as politely saying no to others. For example, I can't work late today because I promised to take my son or my daughter to a football game. This helps your teen learn important skills and ways of relating to others. So you might worry about how your teen will manage peer pressure to experiment with alcohol and drugs. But it's not just friends who influence teenagers in this area. You also have an influence. So you can try to discourage your teen from trying alcohol by talking with them about alcohol and other drugs and the effects that they have and the risks that are involved in taking them. But the way you use alcohol and other drugs yourself also influences your teen's attitudes and behaviour. So you can be a real model for safe habits. So for example, think about the different messages you might send by drinking occasionally and in moderation compared with drinking daily and heavily. So you can role model a healthy lifestyle by eating well and exercising regularly. And you could involve your teen, for example, by swimming or running together, or even just going for a family walk. You can also try to avoid making negative comments about your body and other people's too. This sends important messages to your teen about body image and acceptance. And your own technology use sends powerful messages to your teen about the place technology has in your family's life. So, for example, always walking around with a phone sends your teen the message that your phone is actually really important to you. But scrolling through social media and then going for a family walk sends the message that social media is just one option for entertaining yourself and relaxing. So follow your own advice. By being a positive role model, you'll need to live the positive lifestyle that you want for your teen. If your teen sees you saying one thing and doing another, they may think you're being hypocritical or unfairly judgmental, which may make communication more difficult in the future. So these are just a few examples of how parents and carers can be positive role models to teens. And I hope they're helpful. But I want to finish up today with a question for you. Which of the behaviours I've just described to you do you role model to your teen? Are there other positive behaviours that I haven't mentioned which you role model? Please do let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your stories of how you role model to your teen. So that's it for today. I hope today's episode on how to be a positive role model for your teenager was helpful. And please do take good care of yourself and your teenager, and I will look forward to seeing you next time.